How's it going, Top Forest TV? My name is Jack, and welcome to my preview for Nottingham Forest versus Huddersfield Town, taking place at the City Ground on Thursday night. I'm really looking forward to this one. Nonetheless, I'm actually going to be at the game. It's the first time I'll actually be able to see Steve Cooper in the flesh, Cooper Ball in the flesh. I was last at a live game, that awful 2-0 home loss to Middlesbrough. The last game, Chris Hughton was in charge for. I've probably mentioned on the channel before, but if you're sort of wondering, why have you not been to any other games before that, or between that, sorry, I first of all don't drive, live about 2 hours away from Nottingham, so it's not always easy to get to games, and my dad, who I go with, works shifts, so he can't always guarantee to be off when Forest are playing. Other things sort of get in the way as well, so it's not ideal in terms of that, but I get to sort of as many games as I can, try and get to so many games within the season. So I'm going to this one. I'm really looking forward to going to it. I think it will be a really interesting one. Huddersfield find themselves just inside the playoffs, 6th at the minute, 2 points ahead of us. So, you can't really, at this current stage, really use sort of league standings to really make too much of a picture of how things are going. Obviously, with COVID and things and postponement of matches, there's teams that have sort of dropped below other teams, but with the game in hand, they could go 2 or 3 places above them, so you can't really use it as a true reflection of sort of what's going on in the Championship at the minute. You can use it as a rough guide, I suppose, because, it'll only probably be 1, maybe 2 games that a team's missing out. I know sort of at one point when we were 7th after the Swansea win, there was Coventry and Stoke, one team above us, one team below us. They had a game in hand and that sort of thing. So our position, I wouldn't say it as a false position because it could have stayed that way, but given the game in hand situation, we could have gone sort of down or moved further away from or been left behind a little bit more by a team above us who had to play their game in the future or whatever. It's a rough guide to go off, I suppose, because it still sort of shows form and that sort of thing. They are on the back of a 3-2 home win against what ended up being a 10-man Blackpool. I think, they're a good side, obviously, in 6th place for a reason. I can't remember his first name, but the bloke, Thomas, it begins with an S, I can't remember off the top of my head, it's just skipped my mind. He scored a brace in that game against Blackpool, so he'll be someone that we'll have to keep an eye out on. Lewis O'Brien, one of their more influential midfield players, creative hub of the side, or one of, if you will. He, unfortunately for Huddersfield, had to go off with an injury. I think there was like a 10-minute delay within the game in that one, so he'll be missing, or should be missing, in that one. So it'll be interesting to see how they operate, whether they'll be a little bit less creative, a little bit less sort of dominant on the ball, maybe midfield. I can't, claim to have watched a lot of Huddersfield. The game sort of I did watch last when they played was against us in that game between the Cooper and the Hughton regime. Sort of saw highlights and stuff of that one, so I know a little bit in terms of that, but between time, I can't claim to have seen really any of them, so I'm not really too sure how they're going to line up. They are obviously in 6th place for a reason, so they're going to be a team that have players who are going to cause problems. You look at sort of Fraser Campbell, he knows how to get a goal if they need one. Stung us a couple of seasons ago under Sabri when we lost 1-0 at the Kirklees or John Smith Stadium, whatever they want to know it, whatever it goes by nowadays. I think it's something to do with advertising regulations in the Football League, where you can't be sponsored by an alcoholic brand, which, fair enough. But then you still have to be sponsored by betting But anyway, I digress. Yeah, I think it'll be really important, this one, see how Forest bounce back. Obviously a 2-0 loss against Middlesbrough is not ideal, but hopefully it's only a little blip, a little bump in the road. Last time we did lose under Steve Cooper, the only other time we lost under Steve Cooper, we went on a fantastic run after that. So hopefully it's not something that the players allowed to stay on their mind for too long. Hopefully it's something that they're able to dust themselves off from and move on and go again. I think it'll be important they do that, and that we don't allow that to settle. If we can keep the good energy going, get a win against Huddersfield on Thursday night and keep things going at the minute, I think that's really important, and it's imperative we do that, because I think if we can keep this going, I thought we're in kind of a period of feeling we can beat anyone, and I know we didn't beat everyone. We did obviously lose in our last game. Certain players were out for that one, so you weren't fully strengthed. But if we can keep this good positive vibe going around the squad and not allow bad things really to settle too much, then we'll be absolutely fine, and we can really keep going in the direction we want to go. If we do lose, or we do sort of maybe bottle a lead, for example, and end up drawing or whatever, then it'll be really a test of what Cooper can do and the character in his squad. But I think we'll win. I've got a feeling we'll win. Back at the City Ground in front of the Forest faithful, I think we will get back to winning ways. I think it'll be really important for Cooper to stress the fact that we need to do that. He'll be banging that into the players and really working hard in the training ground to make sure that only stays with one loss, and then we're back to the wins, back to getting positive results, which is what we need to do. And I do believe we can do that. Jed Spence back in the side on the right hand side. He was someone that was missed. I don't think Finn back was too bad, but you can't really expect all too much from a youngster who I think his primary position is centre-back, being played out on that right-hand side in a more of a wing-back role. You have to kind of be brought up in that role to play it at that sort of age. I don't think as a youngster, as his age, unless you sort of played that position, like I say, growing up, to be moved there and not, I won't say expected, because you don't expect him to play the way Spence does and have that sort of output, but to not notice too much of a difference, it's a big ask, and I think he was all right. He made some, a few mistakes, but some big, bits of play. There was one where he followed his runner into the box and was able to get the header away, and that sort of thing. So, he wasn't awfully bad, but now Spence will be back in. That's really important. Cole back, will probably still be playing in that left-back position, thinking about it. I was saying he might be put back in midfield. Potentially could be. I mean, Bong is available. I don't know whether Dragger, if he's back or what, or if he could play left-back. I don't know. I suspect it will be called back again, so hopefully it doesn't unbalance things too much in the midfield and things like that. Maybe with Yates being played in the three at the back, maybe. I'm not too sure. But if I'm going for the side, I'll go Samba in goal. And a quick word on Samba, actually, on the back five at the minute. There's a stat that's come out today that at the current moment, because obviously there's still games to be played, out of the top two teams in England, Forest have actually conceded the least goals in 2021, which I was kind of really shocked by when I saw it, because we have been decent defensively and it's been going forward that's been a real issue for us, but I never really expected us out of the Premier League and the Championship to be that high up in the goals, or what would it be, that high up in the goals conceded, or least, basically that high up when it comes to not conceding goals. I think we rank third or fourth out of the whole EFL for 2021. So that's huge credit to Samba, huge credit to the back five at the minute, back four, sometimes depending sort of what he wants to go with. So huge props to them. I think the back five for me would be Spence. I'm going to go with Spence, Worrell. I would go Yates, but we need him in the midfield, so Figs, McKenna, Cole back. The midfield two, Garner and Yates for me. And then the front three, I'll go with Johnson, Graben, and it's probably going to have to be Zinkernagel. Obviously, Myton's out. Lolly, I think he's out as well. So it's probably going to have to be Zinkernagel. Hopefully he can have a better, a more improved performance than we saw against Middlesbrough, where he was one of the worst players on the pitch. He's probably one of the worst performances we've seen of him in a Forest shirt. So hopefully he can improve on that, and we can see a better performance in terms of that for him. But yeah, in terms of a scoreline for me, I'm going to say Forest 2, Huddersfield 1. I think that's sort of what the score will be. Hopefully we can have a better first half. Second half under Cooper always seemed to be where we perform the most. So hopefully in the first 45 we can come out of the traps a bit, and from the first kick we can play the way we want to play instead of having to wait for the second half. Sometimes you could maybe not be at your best in the first half, and that could come back to bite you. So it'll be really interesting to see how the game pans out. I do think it'll be 2-1. Hopefully we can come out the traps well in the first half, and we'd have to wait for the second half. But yeah, really looking forward to seeing how this one goes. Can't wait to go. Can't wait to be there. And yeah, cheer the boys on again. So if you did enjoy, smash the like button. Subscribe if you are new around here and you haven't already. And come on, you Reds.